Hey, it is your buddy, Peace and Harmony with you here today. Much love going out to all the beautiful, empowered harmonizers. We are zooming in and focusing in on a great viewer question. And that is really to talk about the narcissist ambition and how, getting your focus back. They will really throw other people off, especially on their love bombing in the beginning. They're always sort of on, like our viewer so aptly stated, they're sort of on a hunt for something that they're never going to find. In other words, they, tend to have a lot of grandiosity and then act accordingly. And like the viewer had stated, I love this. They pretend to be someone else to ensnare the victim with deception, lies, pretending to feel one way when they feel the complete opposite. So, in other words, they're trying to fool and deceive almost as if you will, to take you down a path for some reason. And it's usually because they need something, a need for admiration or attention, and they have a disregard really for other people's feelings. But, other people then end up usually sort of lowering their standards and then, facilitating them. And, so with this, it's the relationship kind of causes you to feel empty handed. So, you kind of realize the direction that they're taking and realizing that oftentimes it's not a very grounded direction. So, you then coming back and trying to figure out what went wrong, you have to really look at yourself, not just the two of you, but you have to understand yourself as a strength, as a witness during this, and that this witness is where you want to recover to and sort of come back home to, and then make decisions that are more practical, pragmatic, and not filled with the drama, the erraticism, or the drama that oftentimes will be flared up by these people. And they tend to sort of feel that they are perfect in a way that they, not out of humility, but out of grandiosity. So a lot of these people, they can be very well accomplished, wealthy, talented, you name it, heads of corporation, nice people. They might have been one of the nicest, generous people you might have ever met. I mean, all these different things. So it really creates a lot of cognitive dissonance because there tends to be a lot of good with the bad. And then it all gets sort of smeared, and it can be almost like a blur. So people sort of, I think, emerge and say, you know what, I really don't want my life to be, feeling this way, or like a blur, or feeling this limitation or constraint, or really what is a block holding them back. And usually, like this viewer had stated, people are sort of, you might have been sort of dragged along a path where you really sort of were maybe just sort of in the back footsteps of this person as they would prefer it, wanting you to stay 3 steps behind, and then I'll just sort of go over here. And then that person doesn't have any wind draft. They're not able to go any direction. They don't have any sort of outshoot of their own, and then we're going to circle back or meet here. It tends to cause them to mistreat others, I think, is the point that I'm trying to make. And then people have a sense of toxic shame, low energy, not inspired, not happy. They don't have their flame going. So you know what? You got to light the flame, like literally and figuratively. Resensitizing yourself, coming back to ground zero, if you will, with a sort of a degree of humility and humbleness as a human being, not a human doing, and embracing that 100% with unconditional positive self-regard, just allowing yourself to feel and be as a exercise, a necessary exercise. And to meditate and hold this space is so very crucial, and to carry this great feeling with you throughout the day and reigniting it like one of those Zippo lighters. Remember those little square, who knows, those square Zippo lighters, and you do this, and you got to ignite your sort of passion and happiness and not run on empty. Oftentimes, I would say coming out of narcissist relationships, there might be an emptiness, or especially now with the pandemic, you might be sort of locked out of your regular business, just sort of, you know, you feel stonewalled. A lot of people will take this as a personal attack, a stigma, a sense of rejection. You might have made the wrong choice. This is very scary. This might not ever change. I have, this is all I have. All these sort of terrorizing feelings, and then everyone else is just sort of, and then you're on the inside freaking out, and then they're not. What do you mean? So you have to find where you're sort of freaking out, like, I need to be married by now, or I need to have kids by now, or I need to be here by now, or my education, my profession, my cooking, my weight, my this, my that, whatever it is that you wanted to get going. Where were those aspirations? I mean, like, literally get into the closet and pull it out. You probably have something laying around that was part of your earlier dream. And I talk about in the healing and resensitizing yourself how important it is for you to have a mentor. You know what? Call it silly. I don't care. You've got to be you. And oftentimes people have a mentor, someone that they look up and go, OMG, that guy, that girl, oh my God, I can't believe that guy. He did this, he did that. I can't believe that girl. She's such a, speaks 7 languages, has 3 doctorates. Who do you admire and look up to? Is there 5 people? Can you write them down? Can you now get a magazine, book, picture, something, a picture of this person, and please put it in your notebook, on your fridge, in your bathroom, in your bedroom? I don't care, but you know who your mentor is. You need to have someone who you look up to, because usually that person has a storehouse of traits and qualities that you have within you, but has not been acknowledged and validated and drawn out. So education, educare, is the root word to bring out. So now we're bringing this out of you, rather than the shame. We're lighting the passion, like the Olympics, the eternal flame. This is yours. You've got your own candle. You pick up your own candle. I mean, your candle is lit from the same flame of the greatest. You are connected. You have as many minutes in the day as the people who you look up to. What traits do they have? And just know like 1 or 2, and realize and identify that within you. And when I talk about resensitizing, how important it is for you to maintain a sacred space. When we talk about everything and growth of all this different stuff these days, it's just about like, people are trying to look at the horizon, behind the horizon, but, looking at that horizon from the horizon of your sacred space is a much better place, because you're grounded and rooted, meaning you've come to terms with a healthy sense of humility and humbleness, and found that, it's okay to say no or yes to some things, and don't worry about everybody else. This is, it might feel selfish, wrong, indulgent, but a sacred space has to be something that refuels you, recharges you, and brings you back to that resonance of the sacred, the sublime, the divine, something that is in tune with your breath, the way that you feel, and really enhancing that. So a sacred space can be a part of your home, your desk, an altar. Maybe it's your whole home. Maybe it's your whole garage. Maybe it's your whole basement, attic, bedroom. But you need to have a dedicated sacred space where you can go and just have a chance to rehabilitate, waken up your senses, especially with those items that are healing. Healing sounds, 432 hertz, 832 hertz music. Maybe you like, native Indian drumming or flute music. Maybe you like to watch, the natural, there's all sorts of videos on there now that I love, that are like about the camping and people's adventures outside. I mean, it's just remarkable. And that's sacred because they're taking the sacred journey and exploring really what is out there in life. What is really fascinating to you? Where is your frontier? So, you can get to your frontier from your sacred space. And that sacred space is having that healthy sense of shame and not an unhealthy sense of shame. Usually people have been indoctrinated by society, someone abusive, something that they, have a problem with you, or you are problematic trouble, something is wrong on you. Your fingernails are too long, whatever it is, about you. You're too tall, you're too short, this, that, just it will never end with some people. So, and once you have that sense and realize and say, what, this is my true come back home, come to Kumbaya, come to Jesus, come to Source, come to happiness, come back to square one, come back to the rock, come back to the gold, come back to the treasure, come back to something. What starts your sacred space? Is it a yoga mat, a cushion, something that is like lots of fleece blankets? Where do you begin to comfort? You have to understand the skill of comforting self, and self, not only self-comfort, but self-soothing. Especially if you have been injured or hurt, especially nowadays. Life is so stressful. People are getting sick. It's very, very stressful. It's a very down, somber, at least for me, a very melancholy situation. A lot of people are saying happy holidays, but I feel very somber, really about what is going on in life. I'm not super, I have, I'm concerned about the environment, so I'm one of those. So, and I love the environment. So realize that your sacred space has to incorporate and enhance and enliven and sort of wake up your senses to the sacred. And so that space has to be someplace that nothing else happens in. Like you don't have a desk and this altar. You don't have your bedroom lamp and lamp, whatever you call those little tables, and then this is your altar, although you can incorporate it as a reminder. But you need to have a dedicated space, where you can really come to a special chair. Maybe you put your feet up. Maybe you've got some massage tools around there. Maybe you've got some special seated cushions. Maybe you've got fleece blankets. Maybe you've got a special heater or a cooler. You've got, so you're working on the temperature. You're working on the textures. You're working on the ambiance of being very calm and sort of coming back with all your senses and going there and sort of unplugging and detoxing for a specific purpose and getting meaning. So knowing that that's always there, so you have to create it. Oh, peace and harmony. I don't have anything. Well, then clear out a special place where you can sit, lay down, stretch out your arms, legs. It has to be at least like arm's length around. And it can be on a floor. You can, but this has to be surrounded with items, tools that enhance your sacred space and your sacredness and your sacred perspective, because that will build and elevate. It'll begin to come together, for you. In other words, you'll begin to see opportunity. You'll go, ooh, and you'll go like that, and then you'll be able to refill, and you won't be feeling depleted, taken advantage of, and then you'll see where the trouble is, and you will not be attracted, and you will deflect that sort of trouble and those sort of problematic relationships, and you'll get some distance. You might feel that you're sort of, you've picked up anchor, and, you're no longer drifting. You have your device, you have it together, you are regrouped. And then filling that area with tools and ways of reflecting the sacred to you. So maybe there's something that you have found that you have that reflects the sacred to you. Maybe it's a painting. Maybe it's a carving. Maybe it is a yoga mat, and you've got some special yoga tools that you can indulge in there. I talk about the other sort of things, what can you have? You can use sage. Oh my goodness. To fuel and clear the air. You can light little pieces of this and create sort of in a little shell. Most people will have this, and then a little feather of some sort, and sort of clear the air in their sacred space, and just sort of have that. The sage is a beautiful smell. You can get these, people will grow these sages. This is a white sage. There's all types. There's all types of sage. You can get and learn about it, especially on Etsy. You can learn all about these different sages. Blue sage, white sage, eucalyptus, desert. You can have these as an altar tool. Also, the Palo Alto wood is wonderful. This you can burn, and it's very aromatic, and it's sort of enlivens and uplifts the senses, and it'll sort of elevate and calm. And when you have that music, and then you're using these senses, maybe you're using some essential oils, and you've got a diffuser going with a slight lavender or a calming. Maybe it's something more energizing like a citrus for you. Incorporating natural and not the junk chemicals. And just doing a little bit, not overdoing it. Also, like, I love this. It's called Sahara Rose. It's a beauty serum. So, like, in the sacred space, you can, do this, this oil, and you can put this on your skin, men and women, and it has a very beautiful scent. It's kind of rosy and citrusy, and you can also do this in the hair. So the hair which gets dry, especially now, you can do this oil, not too much because it'll make it flat or like too heavy, but it's very nourishing. And then looking at other products and things that are natural for yourself, looking at all the junk and maybe changing up some things, changing up the sort of soaps, the sort of everyday products that you use, instead of using the typical, find a more conscious choice that is enlivening and awakening to you. Everything from your dish soap, to your other hair care products, your household products. And then you can, have some special things that you have in there. A candle, like a white candle, very pure, is very calming. Maybe you need a blue, maybe you need green, maybe you're going to switch it up. But getting some, cushions or pillows to lay back on, getting some different positions, keeping the back aligned, especially nowadays with everybody on the computer, everybody on the phone. I swear to G-O, dash D that, people are driving, looking down at their phones. Their foot is on the accelerator, and they are looking at their phones. I mean, I know that you know the road where you're driving, but you don't know the drivers. It's just like, create a sort of focus and don't get caught up in the addiction that might be robbing you of this sacredness. So coming back to your senses and sort of feeling healed. I talk about the dry brushing. These things, and using this on your skin in your sacred space, having these tools around you. I mean, this stuff feels amazing. This is like a cactus. I'm a big fan of the natural. I don't like all the chemicals and things like that. So what's healing to me is some of more the just sort of natural, simple ingredients. And I think that rings true for a lot of people. But it starts just changing up, and then this is very stimulating, so it just makes you feel good. The dry brushing, and then after the dry brushing, you can do some oil or a combo of it, and you can do your whole body, and you'll just feel better. So you have to sort of have that, and then that feel-good sensation. Getting like a little basket, like have a basket for yourself. Maybe you've got some... like I have some, getting some special basket for your tools. I'm a big fan of the tie, these tools that they make out of the red tie wood, um, and will help to alleviate a lot of the pressure that you might feel. They're really cool. These things, you can get these on Etsy, but these are like massage, and for someone like myself who's had a lot of issues, I mean, I get a lot of tension in my neck. I work a lot, and on a computer, books, etc. So this is like a lifesaver, you know. And this is just a beautiful way, and then this just feels so good. Oh, that's really nice. Okay. So, you get these in your sacred space. I love these. I think I've introduced these before. These are like these massage rings that you can do, especially for people who are on the computer all day and then their hands are just like cramped, typing for hours. You take one of these springs and then you can just, or without, something with some texture, and just roll out your hands. I mean, it feels so good because you're getting the tension out. Because tension will accumulate. So if you don't have time to go to your sacred space, it'll just accumulate. So you have to like learn, as I was saying, you can get in touch and moderate your own feelings from the sacred. So you're having a solid, healthy foundation, and then that way you'll begin to attract more and like positive energy, but you want to develop that, and it takes some time. This is a process. You might find yourself, taking, it might, if you are with this person or if you've encountered this, it might take at least 18 months. I mean, so, it might take some time. It might take 6 months, but, stay the course, stay the journey, really work it. I talk about the recovery date in the book that I'm working on, and how important it is to take your healed self out and sort of engage in the activities independently. So you're taking sort of your sacred self out, and that healed self, and without, and this is to be done solitarily, independently, with some solitude, but going out on some adventures where you're sort of testing out the new waters, the new you, after you've healed, and you're not sort of being reactive or as sensitive and vulnerable. So you really want to shore up your boundaries and standards. The sacred space, guys, you might have, something there. You might have like a male style candle, or you might have some sort of male style wood or leather, or something that really is important to you. You might have a trophy or an award. You might have a medal that you earned, a business accomplishment. In my job, I was in one of the top, and I got, things, and I got a medal. And so something like this I will tuck away, and then I will also keep like a little box. And I've talked about like the I am, and you can have like your box in the sacred area, other tools that you are incorporating, that are really affecting your whole organ, especially your skin. So like this, you really need to go head to toe. And even if it just takes a few minutes, it'll bring you back. Like and so the more you do this with repetition and experience, you'll begin to feel better. You'll begin to feel okay. You'll begin to make better decisions. You'll begin to say, you know what? I am good at this. I am good at that. I am. And you don't have to be boastful, braggadocious, especially when you're healing, just recognize and acknowledge and validate, and just allow it to be. Allow the good to sort of rekindle, rebuild, and then fill up what if it was a void, filling up that which is needed. So your sacred space, you might have books, you might have the cards. Like I have the yoga cards. You might have affirmation cards. You might have tarot cards. Some people do all this. And then, coming back there, you might have some driftwood that you picked up on a walk. You might have, something else that you put and create as an altar, like a come to place. And you might call it a man cave, a woman cave, but and it doesn't have to be like a big deal, but someplace just where you can set out, have a special chair, a special mat, just like, when you come there, you're just like regrouping and you're able to stretch, you're able to, meditate, you're able to calm down, you're able to get your back in alignment. You're able to notice, man, I'm throwing my head off, I'm throwing this off. You might have a little notebook that's positive, that says make it happen, and then some special pens. You write down something and you tear it off and you go, you know what, I am going to go get that bike, or I'm going to get that Traviton, or whatever all those bikes are, that Petron or whatever that people get. I know those things are super expensive, but you might say, you know what, now's the time to make a change. Now's the time to do it. Have a beautiful day.